When people say your cover sells your book, they aren't just talking about the front. Your title and image might make someone pick up your book, but that's not what sells your book. Your back cover copy is where your reader is introduced to your story, your characters, and you. That's what makes them buy your book. That's what convinces them. So today I want to talk about how to design a sensational back book cover. This is Ignited Ink Writing, a channel dedicated to helping writers like you transform your writing so it lingers with readers. Because writing that lingers gets remembered and recommended to others. I'm Caitlin Burvey, editor and writer. First, speak to your readers. Your back cover is more about your words than an image. This is where you get to actually speak to your readers and tell them about your story. When you're crafting your back cover blurb, think about why people read. People read to be entertained, to learn something, or to escape. Think about your story and which one of those reasons it might appeal to you the most. Then focus on that in your back cover blurb. That's going to be what makes people curious and what makes them decide to buy your book. Aaron Michael Ritchie appeals to both entertainment and escape by building suspense on the back cover of his novel Elizabeth's Midnight. This is what that looks like. Ritchie says, "Quickly, quietly, or Mother Myers will hear," before delving into an equally thrilling description of his main character and her plight. Another important aspect of Ritchie's blurb is its shape. He doesn't use one large block of text because that would be intimidating or off-putting to a reader. Each of Ritchie's first 3 sentence fragments get their own line, and the rest of the blurb is broken into 4 short paragraphs. When people look at your back cover, they're probably skimming more than reading. They're trying to decide in as short a time as possible whether or not your book is for them. When you do paragraph breaks like Ritchie did, you are making it easier for them to skim, which means that they're more likely to make a decision faster about your book. If someone flips over a book and sees a wall of tiny text, they're probably just going to put it right back down. Ritchie also used different fonts and colors to make his words pop. He doesn't have a back cover image, so his words become an image. So he's using the fonts and colors of the text to create visual interest and to keep the back cover copy cohesive with the imagery of the front cover copy. Even though your back cover is about the text, it still needs to be visually appealing and interesting. Again, if it's not, your readers are just going to put it back down. That's one type of blurb. Now let's talk about the other. Other people's words, the other kind of blurb. The short accolade someone writes about your book that you put on the back cover copy is also called a blurb. There are 2 main types of these blurbs. One is the prestigious blurb and the other is the descriptive blurb. In a prestigious blurb, the fact that it's written by someone important in your industry, this could be a major author or a publisher or editor, the New York Times, something along those lines, is part of what gives that blurb its credibility. The blurb might not be the most interesting, but because it comes from that source, it says a lot to your reader. An example of this is, on the back cover of Emily St. John Mandel's Station 11 is the blurb, "Darkly lyrical, a truly haunting book, one that is hard to put down, the Seattle Times." While this is a lovely review, it's not specific to Station 11. Lots of books could be described by haunting. The fact that it came from the Seattle Times and is using beautiful words like this is why it still belongs on the back cover. The descriptive blurb, instead of highlighting who it's from, highlights certain aspects of your story. This is when the people who are talking about your book are actually helping you write your own blurb. Here's an example. On the back cover of Alchemy of the Afterlife by Linda Kinnaman, she doesn't mention her child abuse or nursing specialty because this reviewer does it for her, so she doesn't have to put it in her own blurb. Here's what the reviewer wrote. From the opening chapter, Linda Kinnaman had my attention. She interweaves the details of her personal life from abuse to fulfillment with stories from her professional career as a hospice nurse. Her accounts of the near and after-death events she has witnessed are mesmerizing. Pat Schutte, former columnist, Universal Press Syndicate. You can mix and match prestigious and descriptive reviews. Regardless of which type you're using, be sure you're picking ones that are going to hook your reader, that are going to contribute to that emotion you're trying to build with your cover. Your blurb, as well as these blurbs, should make your readers feel something, because when we feel something, we become curious. If you don't have blurbs that do this, don't use them. Aaron Michael Ritchie doesn't use this type of blurb on his back cover. If you're planning on releasing a hardcover book, you are going to need these types of blurbs because often the back cover is just blurbs from other people. And on that front inside flap is where your blurb, your description of your book goes. So if you're doing a hardcover version, get plenty of blurbs beforehand so you have a lot to choose from. Another key aspect of your back cover is author pics and bios. Most back covers include a short, as in short 3 to 4 sentences author bio. This bio is not where you talk about your kids and your pets and your favorite hobbies. This bio should only be related to your story. What that means is if you are writing about a nurse for vampires and you are a nurse, you should put that. If you're writing about a nurse for vampires and you love cats, no one cares. Your back cover is selling your book. All of those other lovely tidbits about you personally go in your author bio inside the book. There you get more space, more words. That's when people are ready to learn more about you. Your back cover bio is just trying to convince people why you are the correct person to have written this book. So if you're writing nonfiction, include your credentials. If you're writing fiction, put something in there that might stand out to a reader. For example, science fiction authors who are also scientists should definitely put that. If you're a history buff and writing historical fiction, put that. Otherwise, you might not even use the author bio at all. You might just have your picture and readers can learn more about you inside your book. In addition to your author photo, you might use back cover imagery. The focus of your back cover should be your words. So if you're going to use imagery here, it needs to be subtle and supplemental. It should not be the focus of your back cover. A great example of this is The Lucky Hat Mine by J.V.L. Bell. Here's what this looks like. Her historical fiction novel is about a woman who answers a wife wanted ad in 1800s Colorado. So Bell's back cover looks like that 1800s ad. It looks like that newspaper from back then. This highlights her era and the inciting incident of her story. Bell's back cover is not traditionally what we think of as an image, but it's still creating an image, and it's keeping the focus on the words. Here's another example of a back cover with an image. Patricia Briggs' Bloodbound includes the same image from the front on the back cover, but it's kind of broken up. This adds visual interest to her cover, and it reinforces the importance of that character. If you're the type of author who wants to fit a ton of symbols or images on your front cover, don't do that. Instead, take one or two and add them to your back cover in this subtle way that Briggs did, so they don't overwhelm the words, but they still provide that visual interest, and they still let your readers know about that aspect of your story. I'd like to leave you with notes from a professional editor on back book covers. Depending on your type of book, you might not have all of these elements on your back book cover. It's actually kind of hard to fit all of these on one book cover. That's okay. Pick the ones that are going to best serve your story. That will be the most effective in convincing a reader to purchase your book, to read your book and not someone else's. And when you're approaching your back book cover, remember it's not an artistic representation of your story. It's a marketing material. All your back cover should be focused on doing is convincing your readers that your book is the book for them. If you get lost in trying to perfectly describe your story, or you just have to fit this one minor character in there, you're going to lose the effectiveness of that back cover copy. And readers are never going to get to know that character you love because they're never going to buy your book. So focus on making your back cover copy visually interesting, but the main component should be your blurb. It should be what your book is about and how it's going to entertain, teach, or help your readers escape. What are some of your favorite back cover designs? Share them in the comments below. And for more videos on designing your perfect book cover or writing, subscribe to Ignited Ink Writing, a channel dedicated to helping writers like you transform your writing so it lingers with readers. Because writing that lingers gets remembered and recommended to others. I'm Caitlin Murphy, editor and writer. To find out more about me, go to www.ignitedinkwriting.com. There you will also find the timeline of a book, which will walk you through when you should be looking into cover design and when you should be focused on other aspects of your story. And now it's your turn to craft a back cover copy and blurb that will make a reader want to pick up your book, that will ignite your cover.